Wonderful. Again, thanks for joining. Kelly Williamson, Community Manager at the Center for Professional Development. And today we're going to be discussing the changes to the workplace platform, what you should look for, what you can expect. We have enabled early access for everyone to be able to play around with the new platform. And we completed the rollout originally for yesterday. So what I'm actually doing currently is I'm adjusting that rollout so that people can now go in and switch back and forth if you want to. And when I'm sharing my screen in just a moment, you'll see what I mean. And in the meantime, I'd love for you to ask any questions in the chat. You'll notice that you're all muted, but please at any time enter a question. If it doesn't go with what we're talking about right then, I'll save it till the end. If it makes perfect sense in the flow, I will just stop and address it, because I think that is, something that we want. We want all the questions answered. And because they have pushed back the permanent rollout, I also want to make sure that you also understand the tools in general from a training perspective. And I'm currently welcoming a few more people into the room. So you might see the numbers go up and you might hear me pause just because I'm doing that. So let me have a question. All right, awesome. Thank you, Lori. I hope to give you something you haven't seen before. So I'm actually going to start sharing my screen. And you should currently see I'm going to call it the older, or I guess the original look of the platform. If you're currently in the new quote unquote platform and you want to go back to the older one, the first thing I'm going to have you do is actually refresh your browser, because I just enacted the change so that you can go back and switch back and forth. So just click enter, and the next thing that you should see is if you go down to the lower left-hand corner with your profile, if you click on your profile, it should ask you to use the improved workplace website. You can also switch to another workplace. That's probably not something that any of you have, but it does come up for myself because I'm an administrator of a few different guest platforms, so we can allow our guests to come in and out as well. So if you just go to the use the new and improved, you'll see things look different. I am in dark mode, which is great for the eyes, wonderful for accessibility. If you use the consumer Facebook as well, you'll notice that you can now use that in dark mode as well, and that platform actually mirrors this one. These changes had been proposed for a while for them to sort of mirror each other, and now here we are. So again, if you want to switch back at any time, I have enabled it now until the end of October, and I'll probably be posting an announcement about, pushing it back till December, because what I'm noticing is there are a lot of things breaking, and some of the features haven't been fully massaged yet, and I don't want you to feel that you have to use this substandard product. So if you're doing something like uploading multiple files or using the work chat call feature, I would highly recommend, again, going and switching to the classic is what they're calling it. It's tried and true, it's around, you don't have to worry about it, but we have seen specific things not work. And if you encounter something and you're using the new platform, please send me a message so that I can forward that to the developers. I'm not sure what their thought process was in rolling it out so quickly, but I'm thankful that they've allowed us a lot more time to find things and to get used to it. So if you want to put in the chat how long you've been using Workplace, and if there's any just general use questions that you'd like, you see I just got a chat popping up. Please put that in the chat as well. Again, this is free flowing. I don't have any prepared slides. I'm just going to be showing you the browser in real time. So you might see, like, again, a message pop up, or you might see something not work, and that's fine, because again, we're in the new platform. So again, anytime, please feel free to switch. You'll see there are a bunch of different options here. If you aren't in dark mode and you want to be in dark mode, or you want to get out of it, if you click on your icon, the lower left, and go to display options, you'll have two options. One of them is the full width mode. So if you want a wider display, if you're using a wider monitor, or if that fits your needs, feel free to play around with that. And you can toggle back and forth in dark mode as well. So that's incredibly powerful. There are some other accessibility improvements that they're rolling out that we haven't gotten any notification with them, at least for right now. And one of them is a better relationship with screen readers, which is incredibly important. But for those of us with sight issues, especially if we're working at home on laptops, perfect to be able to have that dark mode enabled. So one of the things I have noticed is sometimes if you're copying and pasting verbiage or text into a, like a post, it might actually show up white, and not in a way that's good. So again, if that happens to you and you don't like that, you can always bounce back and forth between the two versions and your changes will be saved. So that being said, just a quick tour around for those of you that might be super new to Workplace. Again, put in any questions in the chat at any time. On the left-hand side, you have your stagnant banner. So the W at icon is always at the top, always takes you home. Then you have your notifications, any chats. You won't see this administrator panel. You'll be able to actually collapse the menu so that you actually have more space if this is too muddy for you or too much going on. And then you'll see, you probably are able to see these give feedback, quick help, incredibly powerful, especially if you're using this late at night or you're listening to this recording and you don't know where to find something. You can actually go here and either contact support or notify and search through the help center. So that's where you can ask your questions and it'll pre-populate for you as well. That's a little different than the classic version where it would actually just pop up and you could enter a question. The next thing is status. So if you're not already aware of this, you can set a status for yourself. So working from home, obviously, for the time being, TBA, we don't really know when that's ending or how permanent this is, but at any time you can clear your status. So if you forgot you had this up here and you want to get rid of it, just simply clear it and it's gone. You'll see that now the smiley face is back. If you want to create a new one, you just click on this and you'll see I am giving a presentation. Real time. So the one thing that you need to do to have this go live basically is you have to choose an emoji. Very strange, I know, but we'll play around. We don't need like the devil horns. Let's do the star. That's great. So I have the star and then you're able to set the duration. So until I change it, 30 minutes, an hour. I'll do an hour. And they also have some suggested ones for you if you're in a hurry. Again, you can have do not disturb turned on. You can always have do not disturb turned on as well, but for the sake of the status, if you don't want people being able to chat with you or you don't want to receive any notifications, you can actually click do not disturb, and for the duration of the time that you've set, you will not get any notifications, and the person who tries to send you a chat message will actually get a little reminder saying that you're unavailable at this time. So again, you can find my little star is now been set. And again, my profile, you see this is the message. She's turned on do not disturb and will not be receiving notifications until 2:09. So at 2:09, if you want to ping me, I'll be available. And most of this stuff is the same. Like I mentioned, the one thing that's new is the display settings. You also have regular settings, display options. Your settings are always the same. They haven't changed much since last year. Here's where you would find your gender pronoun, your name, and then this is also where you'll find your notifications. So you can, kind of browse through everything here. Notifications is always the huge thing, right? So email, huge. And again, if this is new to you or you're definitely a newer user, if you drop down any of the down arrows, you'll be able to edit your preferences. And that includes pop-ups on chat. So you saw what happened when we first started the presentation where someone sent me a message and it popped up. For security, privacy, you can actually turn that off and on at any time. So if you like the pop-up because it gets you a reminder of what's happening, feel free to click it. If you are in a shared workspace or let's say you're going to be sharing your screen, I would highly recommend putting that to off just in case, something pops up, one of your coworkers has a question for you and you don't want people, to see it. Perfectly fine. So again, those are the stagnant areas. And then you have your menu of your actual group. So we have our news feed. It always bounces back to news feed. Everyone's looks different. We're all in different groups. You'll also find our knowledge library. I'm not going to click on that because my view is completely different than yours, but if you do click on it, you'll notice that I've uploaded some onboarding materials and we'll be creating some more flyers and information going forward. But you'll find a lot of links there to recordings like this recording will be probably put in there eventually, as well as some others. And then you can see, if you click see more, there's a directory which has all of the users in here. We have currently 9,500 plus users using Workplace from across the SUNY system, and we also have 2,000 guests. You won't be able to search the guests in the directory, but you will be able to search your colleagues. Any posts that you've saved, any events that you've been invited to, this is something that's new. So notes. And I also want to let you know that if you saw what popped up, of course it's gone now, it talked about features not being able to be used. That's because there's things that are broken. We haven't really seen notes here ever, and to my knowledge. We've seen what's called docs. So you'll see these were created actually in 2016 when we were testing out the product, and you'll see Lisa actually asked, how did you create this? This seems to be new. We might be familiar with notes from regular Facebook, especially when it first came about. We did a lot of communication via notes, not so much now. So stay tuned for more information on this, but know that that is a feature that they're working on. It's something we haven't seen. It looks just like what we've come to refer to in this platform as a document, which if you're using the doc/document as a newsletter, this might be something that's going to go away for you. We actually had a strange encounter with it. We didn't know it was changing, and we created a newsletter and we sent it out this month in Workplace, and we then realized that it didn't look like it had looked like a month ago. So we're curious to see if this becomes just a flat note, if it's still going to be able to be used as a newsletter, or if it's going to become a collaborative document. And what I mean by that is it going to become similar to a Google Doc? It'd be really interesting to see. We're not entirely sure. We're waiting in the wings to find out, but just know that that does exist if you need a note space for yourself. You also find the org chart. Many of you will see that you don't really have a properly filled out org chart just because we're utilizing the platform for 64 campuses plus, so we're not in control of everyone's Active Directory, which is your email address and your domain and who's connected to who. But you can actually go to your profile, and if your colleagues and direct reports and your supervisors all are using Workplace, you can actually add them yourself, and I'll show you how to do that. But we still do have the org chart feature, which is kind of fun. It helps us get a sense of who works with who and who reports to who, and Carrie's is always good because he actually he has a lot of people, and then you can sort of drop down and see more if you want to by this little down, okay, maybe not, down arrow. Again, something fun that you can work on if it works for you, but this is not going away. And just going down through the line, your groups are still the same. You can assign shortcuts if you like. You should see an edit next to your shortcuts. Let me see. And then from here, you can actually X out. So I'm not really, this group isn't really popular right now, so I can remove that. Doesn't need to be top of mind for me. Same thing with this one. And you can really go in and clean up, and you can also edit. If there's something else that you want to do, I think you can also drag and drop. So you can actually arrange now the order of what you see first. So if you're always going to one or two groups, it'll really behoove yourself to make them shortcuts and then drag them and reorder them. Make your life a little easier so it's the first things you see. And then you'll see all the other groups down here. You'll still remember that the blue dot next to groups means that there's activities that you haven't viewed. So it's either posts or comments. You'll also see the number, the corresponding number means how many there are. So there's 2 in a couple of these. You can go to them anytime. If you click the ... next to a group, you can edit your group notifications right there. So that means, are you getting emails? Are you getting pop-ups for them? You can leave the group, or you can add to shortcuts. So if you are one of those people that likes to have a clean desktop, a clean inbox, this is great for you to go in and really start, scrubbing away and cleaning up like things that you're no longer part of, things that you didn't, they're not really communicating as much as you'd like, etc. And you, again, can check that out at any time. So as soon as you add it to a shortcut, it'll come up here. And then you just keep scrolling down, you'll see people. So let's go back to home. So I'm just gonna go, search is still pretty much the same. So when you search like a term, SUNY, you can filter through all results. You can also do some chronological, timestamp searching. You can search for posts that have, I put in SUNY acronym. Again, you can really drive down what you're looking for. You can look for people that have SUNY in their title or maybe in their name, depending on what they have. You can search, again, department, location, etc. Groups, that's pretty much the biggest thing we see. People looking for groups. You can search through group privacy, files, photos, events, and chat. If you have a 3-year chat with someone, it's probably better, instead of scrolling and letting the page refresh, that you actually just search for it. So that has not changed. Again, it just looks different in dark mode. I think everything does, but we're happy that we get that feature, right? So I'm actually going to go to the Commons group. So this is the one where we created the event. If you are already administrator of a group, or you're thinking about a group, you'll notice that the cover photos are a little skewed. We've gone from a really small, original, classic Facebook to a larger one, and now it seems that they're more zoomed in. We haven't received guidance yet on the specs for this, like a particular resolution or size. So I would just recommend, working on it until you get it right, or for in the meantime, just sort of not have one in your group if you'd like. But that's pretty much the only thing that's changed with group space. Although, if you're looking to invite folks using a CSV file, so first of all, you might not know that you can import people if you're the group administrator using a CSV file. They all have to be from a SUNY institution, and ideally they should not belong to any other workplace, which they won't typically do, but just as an FYI. And what they'll ask you to do is actually just follow their template. So if you're actually using this, you download their template, which if you're the administrator, you'll see you have the option to import. When you click import, you'll see the download the CSV. It's literally an Excel document that says email and then has 2 example emails underneath it. The best thing you can do is just copy and paste or input your emails of the people you want invited and put them in like that. Don't touch anything else, because it's very finicky. And as soon as you enter your emails, save it, and you should be able to import it with success. If it's still not working and you're in the new version, switch over to the classic and try it. We just recently, I think as early as Monday, we had tried to upload a group for a SUNY events group that we're working with, and it just wasn't working. We couldn't figure it out, and finally we just did those little tweaks about going back to the classic model and following their template exactly, and it worked. But if that's something you're interested in and you feel that you need a little bit more help, that's what I'm here for. You can contact me at any time. We can set up a time. I can actually do it manually for you, depending on how many people there are. And I can also update people's names. So if you have a bunch of colleagues or folks that they're just having their email aliases and you can't figure out who they are, let me know or let them know that we can actually change that. So if you actually go to your profile, and you can do that by clicking on the profile and then clicking view profile. You can edit your own about section. Again, mine looks a little different because I'm the administrator, but this has definitely changed as well. So you can come over here and choose to edit. You can add your start date. You can add any teams if there are teams in there. You can change your number. You cannot change your email address because that's how you're in here. This is where you would populate the org chart. So I just have Lisa. You can add reports, which actually I have 2 reports. So I'll actually do that, show you how that works. So I have 2 reports. see if this pops up. Yep. So, and that's as easy as that is. You can put your birthday in here, you can set your languages, and then you can actually add skills to your profile. This is something you might not be familiar with, but it's something that's semi-new. I think we posted about it, but it was during this pandemic space, so no hard feelings if you don't remember seeing this. But when you want to come over here and do this, all you would do is click the edit button, and then you can actually search and put in some of the skills. So if you're skilled in instructional design or PR or alumni relations or coding or user interfaces, you can come and actually put this in here so that folks in the SUNY system who are looking for people with those skills can actually search the skills as well. So go nuts with it. Let me know how it works for you. Let me know if the choices are there are good enough, or if you think there needs to be a little bit more customizing in that field. That's what we're here for. We can send our feedback directly to the developers. If you have a nickname or you want to put your maiden name or, let me see the choices here. Yeah, alternate spelling. I don't think we need father's name, but go nuts if that's what you're interested in. There are some options here for you, and then you can choose if you want that at the top of your profile or not. So you can save that. People can follow you. They can choose to follow you if they want to make sure that they're getting your updates. So if you're posting directly to your wall or your timeline, as it's called now, you'll want people to follow you, right? So they get those, and in turn you can follow other people. For the most part, I don't see that many folks posting on their own individual timelines, but you never know. We've had, I want to say we've added 2,000 people since March, just because of the sheer convenience factor of workplace and the fact that we're all disjointed and working from home or doing hybrid presentations. So you'll be able to actually follow people and show who you're following, and follow that many people and your followers as well. So if you did want to follow someone, you could go to their profile, there it was, and you could click follow. You'll also notice that when I hovered over Lisa's profile, it was giving me the option to follow her right there. Workplace does give you badges as well. So if you're an administrator, community builder, it actually shows you what those mean. So that means if you're the admin of 4 or more groups. There are other badges available. Some of these are not relevant to us because we don't have the plugins or things. But if you want to get new joiner, some of you might have that. This Fire Warden, that is a plugin that actually a lot of folks in, like, let's say Walmart or a larger corporate institution use so that they're checking in when they're safe. You might see that with regular Facebook. Like, I've been marked safe from the earthquake. That is essentially the Fire Warden is responsible for that. So that's always a good question. And they have a tool called Safety Check. So some of these are not relevant if you're celebrating a work anniversary, if you receive an endorsement for your skills. Again, thanks is something we don't usually use as well, because a lot of these are hinging on built-in AI tools that we're not currently using, but I think they have 9 badges now. I'm sure we'll see 90 badges shortly. Just something fun, and when you see it, know that you can click on it to understand what it means, right? So we got your profile. Let me come back here to help and announcements, and where it all started, our event. We were having issues with Facebook and Workplace around the 18th and also went into the 19th, but everything should be back to normal. But if you're experiencing issues, again, please let me know. You'll see that events are pretty much the same. When you click on it, you can see who responded, all the pertinent information, who's going, etc. You can invite people, you can share it on your wall if you'd like, and then you have more options. You can add it to your calendar. So you can actually download the event and add it to your calendar, whether you're using Google Calendar, iCal, Outlook, etc. You can also export the guest list. And you can duplicate the event. So if you didn't set this up as a recurring event and now it's going to be reoccurring, you can actually duplicate it and save yourself some time and just edit the pertinent information. So events, exactly the same. One thing that we have noticed with events overall is that we believe that the calendar view is going away. So if you go over to the main and you see your events, you'll see that they're listed in a list. We used to be able to have a calendar view, and in the new platform, it doesn't look like it's available, but again, it's early, and we're not entirely sure what's going on at any given day. But you'll still be able to toggle through events, any celebrations if people are celebrating. I don't have any celebrations. Those are work anniversaries and birth dates of people that are in the platform that you're either following or that follow you. You can look at your past events and any that you're hosting as well. But just know that that calendar view seems to be something that might be on the chopping block or might just not have been rolled out in the new platform yet. I'm going to go back to our Commons group. This is sort of going to be our home base here. You can still edit your posts. So this is the post, right, when I originally introduced the improvement. So we talked about better post creation experience. I'm going to show you that. It is faster. The functionality and accessibility we expect to get a lot better on the website version. The apps still exist. So if you go to the App Store, they're still free. There's two, very similar to Facebook. There's the Workplace app, and then there's Work Chat. So you'll be able to see those two listed. Just make sure that it has the correct symbol to make sure you're downloading the right thing. Same thing with your profile. You know, you should be able to edit everything. They have a lot of advanced administrator tools now on the app as well. And then it will log you out every 7 days to verify your credentials, especially since many of us maybe aren't on our campus Wi-Fi all the time or campus network. We're going to be kicked off a lot more, and we're going to notice it more. so definitely take a look at that. There is a new iOS chat coming that's also been delayed. So what I'm actually going to do is, you'll see, I'm going to be able to edit this post. So you'll be able to see the posting now in real time. So this looks a lot different than the classic mode. Everything has more like larger emojis, larger icons, and you know, the formatting options have changed where they're located. So before we would hover and, you know, it'd be like, oh, italic, bold, etc. would pop up. Now it's over here in the corner. The one thing I'm still looking for that we haven't seen is colors. That would be great. Colors, especially against dark mode, would pop. So I'm actually going to add something. Please note this rollout. So you'll get to see this in real time. Oop, you're going to see it still picks up spelling errors, so that's great. We hope to have this in place by, you give me feedback and be like, oh, your spelling's terrible. Please stay tuned. Okay, so you can see that I've added this, and when I highlight it, those things, now highlighting, you actually get the toggle on top for the formatting. But if you were just simply hovering over, that feature is no longer available. You still have your link, etc. And when you come over here to the side, you're still given the options. So small heading, yeah, small heading works. It doesn't work with bold, okay. So again, you'll be able to see, you can add quotes to it. And if you want to edit it as a markdown, which is not something that I do, I don't really recommend doing, but if there's some spacing or something and you like, let's say you prefer coding and you like that kind of markdown look, feel free to take this for a spin and edit your post like that. Again, it's just something that's there. So I'm going to continue editing. Now I don't have a choice. No, just kidding. And you'll get to see the text formatting help over here. So your profile preview. Down here, you'll see that you have the options for tagging people still, photo and video, and you see I can't do a poll because I have a photo. So that's what that's saying. If you're getting this error notice that says it can't be combined with what you've already added, it's probably because you have a photo or a link is populating and generating some sort of tool for you. So there we go. So there's my little update, and you'll notice it with the markdowns, it added something. And that's usually why I don't like using markdowns, but again, you would just go back and edit it later. you can still see how many people have seen it, although there is some question about if these numbers are correct or not, just based on perception, what's been going on, not being able to trust the platform, the new version right now. So I think we'll have a better sense at the seen by when everything is said and done. So if you have a question about that and you feel like it's not right, let me know, because I think they're looking for that information as well to make sure that they're picking up everything. If you didn't know already, we do offer you the ability to add your own captions now. So if you're uploading a video, so this isn't going live, you have to literally upload a video file to Workplace. When you're doing that, it'll actually show you and ask you if you want captions. If you want to upload your own or edit your own transcript, you can also do that. And you can find more in the Help Center about editing captions. And what I'll actually do is I'll show you the Help Center. So you see, this is what an example of a help article looks like. And then I'm actually going to throw this in the chat. And if you're watching the recording, I will actually put this in the link as well in the description, so you can have that. So again, just checking it out. I see everyone's pretty quiet right now. I have like a lunch hangover. So this is the link I just put for how to edit the captions, or to add the captions there. So that's something that if you haven't used before is super fun. If you did want to test it out, you could simply create a group that's called Test Group, and you could upload some video files there and play around with it. And then when you're done, you feel like you know what you're doing, or you're done, just let me know and we can work on deleting that group, so you don't have to see it pop up and be reminded of like, oh no, I still have this group open. So that's an example of the editing phase that we're going through, where it's very different, and that's where we're also talking about being able to upload multiple files at the same time. And we'll actually test that out. And I don't think it's going to work, but again, if you find something that's not working out, and this wasn't what we had ideally wanted to do, just let us know so that we can see what's going on. Here's how you would disable the Markdown right here. And if you wanted it back, you could choose it again down here. It's the little keyboard icon. So if I want to add some files, you can either drag and drop, or you can select a file. So you'll see we've enabled, let me go back. We've enabled Google Drive and Dropbox and OneDrive and SharePoint. Typically, we're only seeing links from Google Drive and Dropbox because it's harder when we're using the Microsoft tools. There's a lot of credentialing, passwords to go through, and permissions to give. So if we're working with, let's say, folks from 15 other campuses, probably using something agnostic like Google Drive is easier, just simply because of all the hoops you'd have to go through, especially sharing your own OneDrive, which is typically harder to do in general, and especially with SharePoint. But if you're interested in making sure that those work, let me know and I can get you more material on that. But I'm just going to upload it, and you still see, okay, so 6 more files. So I have the max of 6. So you'll see, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Oh, look, so it looks like they fixed this. And I'm going to do those 2 files. So now you'll notice that they are right here at the bottom. And I will say, this is a test for my webinar. Thanks, because I have 20 members in my test. And then I will post. And then I'll actually show you there are some other options, especially if you want to schedule a post. If you're not familiar with that, that's actually how I post my SUNY in the news and my announcements. Some of them are scheduled ahead of time. So if you're like, wow, she's always on, she's always posting, either you like that or you might be annoyed by that. That's how it happens most of the time. You'll see it says file scanning in progress. As far as I can tell with that, that's just something that happens. Other people won't see that. It's just more the person who's posting it. So I'm actually refreshing my browser. But typically what I've heard from administrators when they're worried about that post is that they see this file scanning in progress. It does not happen to most viewers. And if you just click on it, it'll open when it's ready. I think that's something that'll go away, hopefully. It's just one of those kinks they have to work out. But again, you can edit your post at any time. And you can add topics to the post. So we talked about adding skills to your profile. You can now add topics to your post. So let's say you have a group, you have 50 people, and you're constantly sharing best practices and articles and just like documents, and you feel like it's getting to be a lot and you're not sure how to organize it. You can now add topics to your posts. So I don't have any in here, and these are weird ones that other people must have going on, except for ignore. I think that's kind of odd. So I'm going to just add training, and then I'm going to add fun. Did it go? No, I guess not. There you go. So if you haven't already had one created for the group, it'll say it's creating it and adding it to your post. And then I'm just going to do SUNY. All right, so we've got 3. So when I save them, you'll now see that the tags are on the bottom. And typically what happens, and let me refresh again, they used to populate on the right-hand side. Maybe not. All right, so never mind. That's a change. So anyway, if you go back down to the post and you see the tags, you can actually click on one of the tags and it'll bring you to all of the posts that have that tag. So again, if you're seeing like 10 plus posts a day in your group and you think things are getting lost and your notifications are off, you might want to consider using the tags. Someone who does this really well is Chris Lynch in the project management group, which by the way is open to anyone. So if you search it out, Project Management Professionals Community of Practice, we're still holding webinars, and we have one actually tomorrow about the PMBOK guides. If you're thinking about taking certification, you can actually join us for these. She posts some interesting articles now and again from thought leaders. But anyway, search it and join if you want to participate. But what she actually does is did I speak too soon? She's usually pretty good about adding tags, but I don't see any recently. So again, let's go back to the classic version and see what happens. And I really appreciate you all joining me for this. I know it's kind of weird because we're sort of in this gray area, and when I created this event and planned to have this presentation, it wasn't like this. Okay, so never mind, it's not showing up, but she has been really good in the past with tags. And again, I would say as a pitch for this group, if you're interested in project management, and that might even be like, let's say you do events on campus, or you work with students to pull off a can and bottle drive, and you feel that that's something you need to get a little bit more practice in, or something that you feel like needs to be recognized more, I would say to definitely join our group. And we're around. There's over 200 of us from across the system in it. I'm going to try one more thing to see if I can show you tags. Here we go. Popular topics. All right, endpoint management. So James has a lot of topics. But again, here's how we can see. He's got more than 25. I'm going to go click on training. So now we'll be able to see, all right, so posts. So Chris has posted about training. She does a lot of training tags in James' group. Let's go to poll. Let's go to Jim then. So you can see how easy it is to just kind of click around and see what's going on in the endpoint management group. And then you'll also see the tags next to the date using the classic version. If you want to see all the topic tags, there you go. So you'll be able to see how many there are as well. So again, this is using classic version, but look for this to come into the real platform as well. It's something for you to look at now because you can toggle back and forth. And then you can see what topic tags have been really popular and which ones maybe you populated and there hasn't been any info in them recently. But again, just something new that maybe you hadn't thought of before. And let me go back. Again, any questions, feel free to add them. We've got about 20 minutes, so if you did want to ask any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat now so it can make sure that I get to them in a good way, give you enough time. I'm going to go to so the CPD maintains a group that everyone is added to. It's called a default group. There we go. So you're added to it. You can certainly leave if you want. No hard feelings here. But you'll be able to see all of our events as soon as they come online. So when registration is open for something, so you just saw the 21st, we have Faculty Development Conference. We're actually doing an academic kickoff meeting on the 30th, where we're actually debuting a new online, so virtual event software. So if you have colleagues or you're interested in that, you can actually register to join us. It's called On Air, and it's some of our sessions are pre-recorded, so you'll get to see our staff doing some pre-recorded messaging, while also you'll see myself giving a short presentation, and it's pretty slick, and it's definitely something different than we've ever used before. So please check it out, register. It's pretty interesting. And then if you have a need on a campus or a department for that, let us know, and we'll give you a tour. There we go. So what I wanted to show you is actually what I had discussed when we first started, the document that now looks like it's going to be collaborative. So we announced our monthly newsletter. Next month it's going to be through email. So email me if you want to get on our email list. And you'll see that now it says this is a collaborative doc. This is much different than what we're used to seeing. And it also falls under the notes. So just as a general FYI, if you've had some of these in the past, I would go and check it out, see how it looks for you, and also check out our newsletter. But if you see, you can actually edit it. Now, I don't think you'll be able to edit it. I hope not. But again, something to think about if you're you have some of these like documents that you've used in the past, or maybe you're thinking about a way to communicate with your group members differently. The note/doc is still very popular because you're able to do things like embed photos and videos and change the the centering, the justification of the logos or photos, and you're also able to link. If you copy and paste from another medium into a doc/note, it will keep the formatting in terms of links. And some text formatting like bold and italics. So if you go to Wikipedia and you copy all that text and you paste it into a document, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get all the links exactly as they were, which is actually kind of nice, especially if you're carrying over from a Word document. Okay, so just a couple takeaways here. Thank you for your patience as we roll into this new platform. There have been many issues with it, so we are looking at not being permanent in here until December. Up until that time, if you want some help or something's not working out, please let me know. Feel free to add any questions in the chat. That's really all I had for you today. But I am here again to show you all the features. A reminder that you can collapse the menus and pin the menus if you need less of the quote-unquote noise, or if you want to see things. And my contact information, I'll actually put that in the chat for you all. And if you're watching this after the fact, you can check on it below in the channel. But my email address is kelly.williamson@suny.edu. And if you do call us, which it is, we have voice, VoIP, so it'll be fine. You can do that. It's 315-214-2439. Or you can just contact me on Workplace via chat. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me, but I understand sometimes you actually want to hear my voice. You can also try to call me over Workplace chat using either the, if you just want it to be a voice call, you just click the phone icon, or if you want it to be a video chat, you would just click over here. You can also send thanks to people now through chat, by the way, and you can edit the notifications of your chats. So just something to be aware of. You can see Jessica had a question while we were having this presentation, and you know the answer. Yes, there are mobile apps. So again, thank you for joining us today. I'm around for the last couple minutes if you'd like to ask. If not, I'll give you your time back. I really appreciate you joining me today, and probably in December, I'll have um, more stuff to tell you, like, so we'll get some reports back about things that are broken, things that are working, and then get some clarification, especially on the accessibility features. But if you're also looking for some more training of how to actually use certain features, let me know. We can schedule something with your team, your department, your campus leadership, whoever it might be, because we want this tool to work for you in your organization. We've been using it for 3 years. It's saved us a lot of emails and redundancy, but it's also hard when you're using it with a group of people of all different ages, different experiences, and now different workstations. We want it to work for you and have it fit in exactly to what you're looking for. And if it's not the tool for you, we're okay with that too. It's just something that's available for us at no cost, and you have me, your built-in community manager, to help you every step of the way. So with that being said, I appreciate it, and I'll stick around for a couple more minutes, and then I will end our presentation. And I'm actually going to stop the recording now. So